This is K9WLW, and I'm moving along to another Pi-Star cross-moding video. This video I'm going to explore YSF to NXDN. I particularly enjoy this one because it works well and it's a little easier to set up than YSF to DMR. To kind of give you a heads up on it, the NXDN network doesn't require an NXDN ID quite like DMR requires a DMR ID. It's suggested. I recommend it. The good news is the same site that you go to get a DMR ID, which is called radioid.net, is the same website you can request an NXDN ID. The good news is that process takes maybe an hour or so, maybe an hour or two after you've requested it online. You get an email confirming that you have your NXDN ID and you're good to go. So when you configure your Pi-Star, you can add your NXDN ID. I recommend it. I think you can operate it without it, but maybe not. But it's quick, and once you've got the NXDN ID, you're good to go. You're good to go on the network. So you don't have to register with Brandmeister or TGIF and go through that process. You just NXDN ID from radioid.net, you're good to go in the NXDN world. It's pretty quick, pretty simple. All right, moving along. Okay, here's how we configure your Pi-Star hotspot for cross-moding your YSF radio to NXDN. In the MMDVM host configuration, you of course turn on the YSF mode. You also turn on the mode switch that's labeled YSF to NXDN. Again, when you're doing these cross modes, I don't recommend leaving any of the other switches on. Just turn on what you need, turn off what you don't. YSF mode, YSF to NXDN, slide down to the apply changes and hit that and wait for the update or the change to occur. When you do that, you then look for your YSF or Yaesu System Fusion configuration section. Okay, and again, it's going to be a little bit more expanded in this cross mode than in the straight YSF mode. You have your YSF startup host, the uppercase host files, wires X pass through, and this is also a place where the NXDN ID would go in. I haven't tested it without the NXDN ID, so maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. If you don't have one, you can try it. Let me know if it works without one. But I have one, and you can see I only have a 3-digit number. How's that for an ID number? 3 digits. I like that. NXDN startup host. Okay, the way you set this up is you use the YSF reflector. Let me tap on that and see if I can get that. All the way up to the top of the list, you've got none, parrot, and your cross modes. And this is before you get down to your YSF. So you look for, near the top, YSF to NXDN. You load that into the YSF startup host. Then you have another startup host, if you will, down at the bottom. It's called the NXDN startup host. Now you can set one of these as your startup host in this cross mode, but you don't have to. You can actually link to various ones directly from the page, but then it's every time you hit apply changes, it's going to link you into that reflector. What I do is I make my startup host none in the NXDN. None. In other words, I want it to default unlinked because I'm going to use the radio and the Wires X button feature to navigate the NXDN network, which is pretty cool actually. So once you've done all that, you want to hit apply changes. Again, it's YSF 00003, link YSF to NXDN as your YSF startup host, and I recommend using NXDN startup host of none and then hitting apply changes. And that's really it for the hotspot setup. So I'm waiting for the apply changes to occur so we can get into the actual usage. Okay, it's almost there. Come on, Pi-Star. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to go to the admin page here. And the reason I like the admin page in this cross mode is you see your YSF to NXDN as your YSF network, but it also shows your NXDN network live down here. And now, currently I'm not linked. But also on the admin page, you want to look in this modes enabled network status. And again, you want to look here to make sure everything's operating properly. If you have everything configured correctly, it should show your YSF and YSF mode in the modes enabled section is green. And in the network status, it should show YSF net and YSF to NXDN are both green. If all four of those are green, you're ready to roll. If they're not, there's something wrong with your configuration. Okay, so we're clearly good to go on the modes enabled and on the network status. And we can see we're not linked to anything in NXDN as of yet. So this is where I'm going to grab the Fusion radio, the FT2D, and I'm going to try and address the hotspot again with this Wires X button. So let's give it a go. Okay, so I'm not linked. I can search. Now I've stored some NXDN reflectors in this folder that I labeled NXDN, so let's take a look and see what we can find. Okay, there's NXDN 1200 Florida, here's NX Worldwide. I think that's known as 65,000. I've already stored them in there, so we can tap on that. Now, unlike Fusion, the NXDN network announces through Pi-Star what you're linked to. Unfortunately, the announcement is like way overmodulated, so it's not going to be easily understood. But you can see TG 65,000 is showing there. That's the worldwide talk group. You can add it, store it in a folder. I've already done that, so I don't need to do that. But I hit the back key here, and you can see talk group 65,000. Okay. Now, here's another feature that's cool. You can search all. And I don't mind searching all in NXDN because it's a lot smaller reflector list than is the YSF reflector list or the DMR talk groups. One thing of note is this top one is called NX Unlink. This is one that you probably want to store. Okay, so use it. And it does an unlink. And you want to add it to your, you definitely want to add it. Okay, so you want to add it to your folder. And the reason that you want to add it is this is your way to unlink from reflectors in the NXDN world. So I go into Search and Direct. I go into my NXDN folder. I wait for the response. And I think I have it somewhere down here at the bottom. I'm still scrolling down. These are all NXDN reflectors. Actually, I didn't store it. Shame on me. All right, let me go back to searching. See if I can search all. Shame on me for not doing this. All right, let me try it again. Let me get out of X mode. I'll go back into it. Sometimes it loses contact with the hotspot. Okay, I reconnected. Let me search. Let me search all. Okay, there's the unlink. So let me try connecting to the unlink. And I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it to the NXDN folder. Okay, apparently it's already in there. That's why I'm getting the double beep. So I must have missed it. So let me see if I can find it in there. There it is. Oh, I accidentally dropped it into the P25 folder. That's why I messed up. I'll move that up to the NXDN folder. That's for another video. But anyway, I can tap on it, and it unlinks me from the reflector. See, it says Talk Group 9999. So that's how you unlink. So I'll go back into NXDN. I'll just have to remember for now it's in the P25 folder to unlink. I'll connect to 43389. Okay. Now, even though it isn't showing on the display of the radio, it is showing on the hotspot. So if I key up, I'm in 43389. That's how so you can search reflectors. So let me go to the P25 one, which is where I accidentally stored the 9999. NX Unlink. All right, it beeps, but it should say not linked, and you can verify that by backing out. You can see Talk Group 9999, and here you see not linked. So you can see that you can navigate with the Wires X button. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now, if you go to Pi-Star UK, and you go to NXDN Tools, there's an NXDN Reflector List. You tap or click on that, and it takes you to this site. And it lists the NXDN reflectors from lowest number to highest number. And it's only this long. I mean, it's a good number, but it's not anywhere near the number of YSF reflectors. That thing is a mile long. So you can find a handful of them in here that you might want to try. And you can store them as favorites in one of your folders in the radio. And you can use the Wires X button to navigate around. So that pretty much is all it takes. Again, YSF to NXDN, you can use the Wires X button, you can add favorites, you can store an unlink command, which is group 9999, and you just tap onto that and it'll unlink you from any reflectors. Plus the admin page shows you what you're linked to or if you're not linked. So it's actually a very well functioning cross mode, and I like how it works with the Wires X button. The fact that you can do that in this world is also helpful from the radio, so you don't have to rely so much on using the dashboard. Anyway, that's it. It's fairly simple. I hope that makes sense to everybody, and I recommend that you try the mode, YSF to NXDN. If you want to join an NXDN net from your Fusion radio or from any other radio, Eastern time, Eastern United States time, 7:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. There's a net, an NXDN net on NXDN Reflector 1200 in Florida. Welcome to join in on the NXDN net on NXDN Reflector 1200, 7:30 Eastern time in the United States. People are welcome from all over the world. Wednesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Eastern United States time. So hopefully somebody will check in. Anyway, that's how you operate YSF to NXDN with your Raspberry Pi hotspot. If you have any questions, please reach out to me below or you can email me at cq2meters@yahoo.com. cq2meters@yahoo.com. 73s from K9WLW.